Then it's your chance to be ruthless.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing. Won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless. They don't wanna see me care. Anytime I make some progress, I can see that they compare. I think everyone's against me, maybe something in the air. Am I paranoid? I swear a void is forming and they're scared. I walk a straight path, not many can say that. I like to play fast, cross me and there's payback. You better pray that I don't see your face at any place that I go. I know you hate that. I've been doing fine, I'm not wasting any more time. I live for the fight and the climb, and I think that the pain that's deep inside is what defines. So I won't give up, I'm gonna make it to the top. I don't care what's in my way, I swear I'm never gonna stop. I could fall flat on my face and I swear I won't give back up, cause I don't deserve a thing and the road ahead is tough. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing. Won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless.
Good morning, everybody. Looks like all the gauges are green, guys. Hopefully you guys had a great weekend. Obviously, we had some stuff go down over the weekend that was pretty fantabulous stuff here. We're going to wait for a few more people to get in here. Obviously, for the replay crew, you look for the blue numbers in the bottom, and you will be able to click right where we're starting to talk about the stuff that's in the thumbnail. If you guys had something magical happen to you or with you over this long weekend, put something in the chat. Obviously, there's 11 people in here that have not checked in yet, so do me a favor. Well, there's 11 people in here, and only a handful have checked in. So, as usual, and you know what? I put the chat in, so I can't even see who the first was. So I'm gonna go with Debbie Chandler. Number 2, Cindy, you are deterred. Someone, possibly Debbie or whomever, said that they came in here first. West Virginia Pappy, sup? Rose is in the house. What do we got here? Let's see here. LocalPrepper, good morning, my friend. Bob Pete is here. Catitude, good morning. I'm yellow. Yeah. That's a long damn time. That's 6 months. I think, anyway. I think that's what that is. Ian's in the house. We got Andy Pearson. Let's see here. Rose is in here. Don't we all love our weather? Brr. Yes. Uh, Cindy says, gotta leave the house. Garbage day and a bunch of 25-cent items at Dollar General store. I don't want to go out in the cold. There you go. Cindy says she was the first. Cindy says she was first. Rose was the first. There you go. There you go. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so I think that we're going to go ahead and get right into it. I don't see the numbers changing rapidly, and that is a-okay. It's the day after a holiday, and this isn't really like the subject that draws people in, because the only thing anybody wants to talk about is the damn election. That's all they want to talk about. And if you watched it for like nearly 20 hours yesterday, you're pretty much done with it. You're pretty much done with it. Some magical stuff happened. The guy held up his word, basically worth his weight in gold, that kind of thing. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into this, and we're going to get going there. Looking at oh, wow, I'm down to 8 concurrent viewers. That's wild. That is absolutely wild. YouTube is playing games. YouTube's playing games, guys. Okay, let's see. Looking at the poll, which some people can't live without, which is fine by me. What is the most important feature in an EMP ready vehicle? 43% minimal electronics, 43% large cargo capacity, 14% off road capability, and 0% long lasting diesel fuel. As usual, don't jump right into the poll. You either have an opinion or you don't, or you like to wait until the end. That's really up to you. Let's see here. Cindy says all I heard from Elon was Mars, Mars, Mars. Well, yeah, because the dream is coming true, man. The dream is coming through. It's just that is the purpose. That is Elon's purpose in life, is to make the human race interplanetary. All right, so let's get into it. 30 years ago, most cars relied on carburetors and the concept of electromagnetic pulse, or I'm sorry, electromagnetic pulse, or EMP, as we've talked about, disrupting modern infrastructure was simply a fringe theory. Now, today, even organizations like NASA acknowledge that an EMP is a genuine threat. Such an event could devastate critical systems that support modern society, from communications to transportation. Now, uh, electronic dependent vehicles would likely be incapacitated, leaving most of the urban dwellers stranded, and frankly, most everybody these days. For those of you that are considering an EMP resistance when selecting a bug out vehicle, there are key factors to evaluate, and we're going to explore the critical considerations for choosing an EMP survival vehicle, and uh, how to prepare it, for such an event. Now, I have made a list. I've made a list. I've done the extensive brain work. Did surf the interwebs to find you some of the main details that are important when you talk about a bug out bag, or a bug out vehicle that is EMP proof or resistant. Looks like we've got some people coming here. Let me close this chat. There we go. Let's see. Where we had here? Ian, Mr. J's here. Ian's here. Good to see you. Laszlo, good morning. Nice. Okay. So, in no particular order, but with recommendations, diesel. The benefits of diesel. Now, diesel engines have several advantages in a post EMP scenario. Unlike gasoline, diesel is less refined, allowing it to have a longer storage life. Additionally, biodiesel can be produced from crops, offering a renewable fuel source. Diesel engines lack any ignition system, making them mechanically simpler and less vulnerable to EMP effects. Furthermore, most agricultural and industrial equipment, such as tractors, also run on diesel, which could be advantageous for homesteaders. Basically, we're kind of like making sure that everything is the same. Now, some expanded recommendations when we start talking about diesel. Consider stockpiling diesel stabilizers and learning how to produce biodiesel to extend the usability of your stored fuel. Ensure you have chosen vehicles, that it has a reliable diesel engine. with mechanical fuel injection, as it is less dependent on electronics. Believe it or not, some of the best diesel engines ever made were made for Mercedes for Mercedes luxury cars in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. Those engines from the 70s in the diesel Mercedes Benz. What's the word I'm looking for? It's not cruisers, um, sedans. Uh, run. They just keep going. They just keep absolutely going, and they're easy to work on too. And they have very, very little electronics in them whatsoever. Looking at the chat here, let's see. Ian says, I know it's not on topic, but on cold mornings like this, I'm glad I don't have livestock that need looking after. I mean, it's true. That's true. But it is what it is. If you have livestock and you're in a homesteader, then that's your job. So yeah. Let's see here. GM Brand, West Virginia Pappy says they built a diesel dirt bike for the Marines back in the day, I believe. They did. I've ridden one. I was not part of that scout program, but I've ridden one, and they're okay. They're extremely heavy. Um, they're a little loud, but they do run on diesel. But you got to watch out because a lot of military grade diesel is very refined, and you could you always run when you work with military vehicles, you always run the danger that there's either not enough oil or there's too much oil in the fuel. A perfect example of that is we used to run aggressor vehicles. There was a whole buttload of armored vehicles that were brought back from the Iraq or the original Gulf War to use as aggressor vehicles, and you literally have to put oil in the diesel fuel that they run on because their diesel fuel wasn't as refined as ours was. So something to think about. Chicken McNug, good to see you, bro. Good to see you. All right, so next thing. Gonna take a sip of coffee, shameless self-promotion. I don't even think I even tagged this thing this morning. Today's not one of those days. First day back, I don't really like to press you guys, so I think it's better just to do the live stream. All right, so the next thing we need to talk about is fuel capacity. Post EMP fuel scarcity will be a significant challenge. Vehicles with oversized or additional fuel tanks offer greater range, um, reducing the frequency of refilling. Now, um, in a world with no functioning gas stations, the adaptability to siphon the fuel using tools like the Black& Decker Jackrabbit pump, if you've ever heard of that, you might want to look it up, becomes essential. And guys, if you're not going to get any fuel out of gas stations because they run on electricity. Very few gas stations actually have generators now. Um, but if you know how to get it, you need to be able to pump it out. And then yeah. So and that's a process within itself that isn't just like, hey, I'll just pump some gas out of this car. No, it's that you will need a different kind of pump to get that fuel out of there. All right, let's see here. Some expanded recommendations on that is look for vehicles that allow for retrofitting larger fuel tanks. Equip yourself with manual fuel transfer pumps and ensure proper storage of external fuel in secure ventilated containers. One of my favorite things is they make it's there. I think you can buy them for pretty much any vehicle, but there's a company out there that makes these fuel modules that they're basically fuel cans, but they have a hollow center, and the idea is you put this bracket on the side of your car, and or your vehicle, should I say, and then you like put it chunk, chunk, and it locks the fuel to the side, and then you can just take that off. It's got a little lock on it so nobody can steal it. And so you can be running around with, you know, 5 or 10 more gallons, probably around 10 gallons of extra fuel that's just like slabbed to the side of your car. That's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Let's see here. The West Virginia Pappy says my area homemade ethanol would be easier. There you go. There you go. To each their own. It's all situational, 100% situational. Okay, so the next thing we'll talk about is cargo and towing capability. A bug out vehicle must accommodate essential supplies, family members, and potentially even pets. Ample cargo space, trailer hitches, roof racks, and swing out storage can greatly enhance a vehicle's utility. The vehicle may even double as temporary housing in extreme scenarios. Now, some of the recommended options are to choose vehicles with high towing capacities and invest in an off-road trailer. Modular storage systems and a roof tents can expand cargo space and shelter options. Now, a lot of times people don't really think about it because these are all like off-road add-ons, but they do actually make like these smaller rooftop tents that you can put on pretty much any car there is. I would just worry about like what the strength of your roof is, to be honest with you. So something to think about. Something to think about. If we go to the poll and let's see, we've got 13 votes, which is not bad. There's 19 people in here. What's the most important feature in an EMP-ready vehicle? 54% say minimal electronics, 31% say large cargo capacity, 8% and 8% say long-lasting diesel fuel and off-road capability. So we're definitely rolling up there. Looking at the chat, Harbor Freight sells jerry cans. Yes, they do, and they're actually very good quality, very surprisingly good quality. May have to upgrade braking system depending on the loads. That's true. That's true. If you overload your vehicle, you may have to upgrade your braking system. Rose says during World War II, an uncle was in the motor pool, got promoted to driver for a colonel because his trucks were always up and running. There you go. Love my old Suburban. Yes, absolutely. Chick McNug says, look into what they call overlanding for ideas and supplies. Yes. I actually have an overlander that I have had followed for years, and then he kind of dropped off, and then he started doing these videos where he was dumpster diving. I'm not sure why, but he hasn't made a video on his overland. I was just literally just I was modeling. I was getting all the ideas for my Jeep from his overlanding Jeep, and it was like that's going to be the dream. I don't know why he stopped doing overlanding videos and went into dumpster diving videos, but to each their own. Um, let's see here. Off-road. Speaking of overlanding, off-road capability. Jester does overlanding. Yes. Well, I wouldn't say sure. I like his little vehicle. I really do. I've actually been in it a couple of times. But they're interesting. He's got one of those little Toyota things that I'm not even sure if they make them anymore, but they're super interesting. They've actually got like this little a bubble in it to see if you're level or not, and a compass. Um, let's see here. Off-road capability. Post EMP. Roads may become impassable due to abandoned vehicles or lack of maintenance. A vehicle equipped with four-wheel drive, all-terrain tires, sufficient ground clearance, and recovery gear, e.g., winches, tows, straps, and traction bars, will be essential for navigating such conditions. Now, if we're going to talk about any types of recommendations for that, I would say that you might want to opt for vehicles with aftermarket suspension upgrades and reinforced undercarriages for rough terrain. Now, you might also want to join off-road driving courses to enhance your skills in navigating challenging environments. Yes, it's an FJ Cruiser. That's right. That's right. It's an interesting vehicle. It really is. Um, I always look at uh, my bug out my bug out vehicle should be long enough that I can sleep inside of it comfortably. I've constantly in my brain thought about an old school station wagon, that it's just made of glass and metal. and it's got those seats, the seats that you can fold in and out, or should I say, fold up and down, that are in the back, that face backwards. You remember those? Are you old enough to remember those? Because those were freaking cool. Um, but yeah, that's if I could find one of those, that would be super duper. The only thing is, those old engines, they just don't do well on for gas mileage, but very powerful. They're actually really fast. And you're talking about a roof that you can put lots of stuff on, and lots of room. I mean, lots of room inside. It's basically like a boat. Jeep Wagoneer would be great. Either that or a Scout. The Scout. I think the Scout might be too short, but they made vehicles very big back then compared to now, and so there was always lots of room inside of them. So, but yeah, the Jeep Wagoneer is pretty cool, pretty cool. But I would get me one of them, like an old school station wagon. Yeah. Okay, let's see here. Looks like we've got 17 people in here, which is fine. Well, they're concurrent viewers. On your screens, it says either 14 or 15, but I have something different. There's something my software tells me other things. There you go. Flip the leaf springs on the Vista Cruiser, and you can go kind of off. There you go. Must have wood panels on the side. Yes, I believe so. I believe so. Let's see here. Catatu says, I had a Volvo with rear facing seat. Great car with high mileage engine. Volvos are basically tanks. If you guys didn't know that, if you've ever tried to tear apart a Volvo, they are built like tanks. It's insane. Chick McNug says, "Good luck finding a station wagon. U.S. Derby guys took all of." I know, right? It's just those vehicles. What Chick McNug is talking about is the demolition derbies. They're the favorite vehicle for demolition derbies. All right, so let's see here. Bradley says, "I'm actually trying to find a newer car that's great gas saver because my truck is down. Thinking about something along these lines." There you go. Rose says, miss the pre-80s cars, big and roomy. You could lay down door to door, trunk large enough for 2 or 3 bodies. I know, right? I used to have an old Crown Victoria that it's like one of the very first streamlined versions of the Crown Victoria. I want to say it was a 94, and you could put so many bodies in that trunk. It wasn't even funny. Let's see here. Okay, I think we're good. Let's check the Deanna, good to see you. Good to see you, lady. We're going to check the poll right now. What's the most important feature in an EMP vehicle? Right now 53% is minimal electronics, 33 large cargo capacity, 7 and 7% long lasting diesel fuel, off-road capability. Um, let's see. We're going to go ahead and roll. I'll come back to the chat here in a second, but I'm going to go ahead and roll up here to the next thing. All right. So we're talking about different cars and how easy they are, but ease of maintenance and repair. Now, in a survival scenario, simplicity is kind of paramount. Modern vehicles with complex electronics are harder to repair without specialized tools or diagnostic equipment. Older vehicles, which rely on mechanical systems, are easier to maintain and repair. Now, expanded recommendations would be acquire a detailed repair manual specific to your vehicle. If you have a vehicle and you don't have a repair manual for it, you're kind of screwing the pooch there. You're literally throwing money out the window. Stock up on essentials tools and parts such as belts, hoses, and filters. Practice basic repairs to gain confidence in maintaining your vehicle. If your kids don't know how to change their oil or change a tire, you have failed. You have failed. Let's see here. Let's see. And don't feel bad. I'm not pointing any fingers. I've got one right now that has never done it before, and he's 18. And I guess I didn't get to him soon enough, so it is what it is. Going to the chat. Look, Grumpy Acres Farms here. Good to see you. Have you put that trunk thing to the test? Which the old Grand Vista Cruiser. I like it. AMC Eagle was a wagon with a high ground clearance. I like it. Yeah, I remember those. Those actually were big sellers before AMC went out of business. I like the old Chevy Caprice. Those things were heavy duty tanks with windows. There you go. Bradley says downside to older cars is parts are starting to get hard to find. I believe it. Rose says yes, hiding bodies from the drive-in. There we go. There we go. All right. Yeah, my nose is doing stupid stuff. Oh. All right. That's probably not YouTube etiquette, but screw YouTube. YouTube was doing some really weird stuff for me on the developer side this morning. And so I don't know what is going on with it. Anyway, I'm just glad that it's working this morning. All right. So, and it's funny that you say that, Bradley. Number 6, commonality of parts. Vehicles with readily available parts are more practical in the post-EMP world. High-end or custom vehicles may be difficult to repair if spare parts are scarce. Opting for popular models increases the likelihood of finding interchangeable parts. Now, one of the recommendations is to consider purchasing a secondary vehicle for spare parts or salvage parts from junkyards. Focus on vehicles with widespread use, such as older Toyota Land Cruisers or Ford trucks. I don't think you can fall out of a plane at 50,000 feet over the ocean and still not land on top of an F-150. Man, my nose. All right, let's try this again. All right, let's see. West Virginia Pat taught both daughters to change oil, tires, and plugs. Oldsmobile Delta 88 paid $150 for it. Love it, Debbie. I love it. Rose says first car was an AMC Rambler. Later had an '83 Buick Laster, the big beast. I love it. I love it. All right, let's see here. Let's go on to number 7. The fewest possible microelectronic computers or chips as possible, which makes sense. Which makes sense. So modern vehicles contain hundreds of processors that control critical functions like fuel injection, braking, transmission. These systems are particularly vulnerable to EMPs. Older vehicles with mechanical ignition and fuel systems are far less susceptible. And if we were to give out some kind of recommendation, that would be to avoid vehicles with advanced electronic systems. If electronics are unavoidable, keep spare parts such as ECUs, that's electronic control units, starters, and alternators in a Faraday cage or Faraday bag, obviously. Research vehicles with a reputation for mechanical simplicity, such as pre-1980 vehicles. Now, I kind of wish I had like pictures for you, but I don't have time in one day. I literally come up with these things the day before to talk about because I want it to be relevant. I want it to be fresh in my head. I don't want to do like a bunch of research and then a week later not be able to speak to you intelligently about it. Besides, I don't get to learn anything that way. I would just literally just be regurgitating stuff. So, let's see here. The LeSabre. Chick McNug says, got to go with a square body Chevy. Ford managed to it much between years, even in the same body style. There you go. There you go. All right, let's see here. I tell you what, with all that said, oh, I forgot when I tap on this, you guys can hear that. I apologize. With all that said, we're going to go ahead and pay some bills right now. Do me a favor, guys. If you love your country, God, based off of last night, you got to love your country and you got to start loving your government again until they start to screw it all up. If that's the case, put a number 1 in the chat. Erica, I'm going to drink some coffee. I'm going to talk some smack. I'm going to pay some bills. Guys, as you can see on the screen, we're going to talk about EMP Shield for a couple of seconds. Why? Because we're talking about EMP vehicles. Now, I actually own 2 of these. I have a third one that's up on that shelf up there. I can bring it down for you. Hold on a second here. I can bring it down for you. This one is actually for the boys' vehicle when you can get around to doing something. It's really very simple. It's really very simple. This is the device right here. It will not void your warranty. This is super duper Velcro stuff. You Velcro it. It actually comes with 2, one of this one and an extra one. Um, Positive, negative ground, not a problem. You simply put it in yourself. It takes 10, 15 minutes tops, depending on if you can find a screwdriver or whatever. Basically battery positive, battery negative, battery, and then find the ground on your vehicle. Put it on your frame. It's really very simple. The green light comes on, which it means it's working, guys. If you don't have an EMP shield, if you're concerned about EMPs, okay, and I'll be honest with you, when would be the best time for the bad guys to use an EMP on us? Well, I don't know. Last night, things are going to start getting good. We're not going to be this weak little country anymore under Captain Red Tie. And so they may need to strike while they have the best option to do that. And that means being prepared, guys. So if you have a fear of the EMPs, and I'm not like going after your fears. I'm just saying if this is, you guys know the deal. And these things aren't cheap. These things are not cheap. Do me a favor, just use the code LocalPrepper, save $50. $50 is a substantial amount of money to save. My plan is I'm going to get in my vehicle and drive where I want to drive when I need to drive, as long as I need to drive until my gasoline runs out that I got stored and such and such and such. But the reality is that uh, not the next four. I don't have to check it out. Not the next 4 years. Uh, I think it's smarter to think about this logically. And let's not. You know what? Hold on. Let's talk about that for a second. But guys, EMP Shield's going to take care of you guys if the bad guys decide to do something nefarious. All right. So I kind of got the feeling. I kind of got the thing by the text that you don't have to worry about stuff for the next 4 years. That is foolish. That's absolutely foolish. Please do not do that ever. Okay. You guys know I don't do the fear porn. All right. But the world is going to react to what happened yesterday. I'm going to do a video about that today. But you have to understand that the world is going to react. There will be forces that will be brought into play that may or may not have an effect on us here in the United States directly. They're having trouble killing our troops overseas. They're having trouble getting rid of us overseas. We are Rome, okay? And then you just got basically now the most powerful man in the world has all of the power, and he's very clearly shown that he is willing to use it and that he has a plan and he is executing that plan. If you are a foreign global leader that wants to see the demise of the United States or doesn't want tariffs, then the time to strike would be like soon enough. Okay. Waiting for another 4 years for another Captain Blue Tie, Ricky Retard, to come into office is probably not going to be the smartest thing. Okay. So just saying, don't let your guard down. Do not let your guard down. All right. So let's see. We're going to go to number 8, overt versus covert appearance. Blending in can be a crucial survival tactic. In urban areas, inconspicuous vehicles like sedans or vans draw less attention. In rural areas, camouflage or matte slash earth tone paint jobs may be more practical. However, in some situations, an intimidating appearance might deter potential threats. So think about the way your vehicle looks. And to give you a quick recommendation on that, customize your vehicle's appearance based on your environment. Use removable paint or wraps if adaptability or for adaptability. Consider blackout lighting systems for stealth operations. I personally know there's one person in that follows Cuck V. Guys, if you've ever seen a Cuck V, you might want to look one up because they have all the magic that we're talking about right now. Now, I will tell you that, using vehicle wraps, it's not a bad idea if you have the money, but those wraps have to come off. They just don't pull right off, like in the movies. So it's something to think about. Something to think about. Going to the chat here real quick. Where are we at here? We got all our ones. Let's see here. Rose says, thanks. Only foreign truck I would ever buy is a Toyota Tundra. Roomy did test drive off-road at State Fair. Yeah, Tundras are actually pretty nice trucks. Bradley says, "Chicken, did you see the new square body Chevy for the anniversary this year?" I have not. I have not seen it. Let's see here. I did not. I'll check it out. West Virginia Pappy says, "Make sure metal grounding to is clean of paint or coating." Yep. Cuckfee says, "Watch for the People's Republic of China. It's warming up to 2 degrees." There you go. What's up, Cuck? Didn't say I don't have to worry. Just I don't believe anyone wants to try the U.S. when someone. I got you. I got you. But it was a great time to do that. It's a great time. I think it's a good time always to tell people, don't let your guard down. Take a breath, man. Enjoy the moment. Celebrate. Liberty Day. You know what I'm saying? Just don't let your guard down. It's foolish. We let our guard down 4 years ago, guys. We let our guard down 4 years ago, and what happened? You know what I'm saying? You think it can't happen even with the guy that we like? All right, let's see here. Chick McNug says we basically declared war on Mexico, so yeah, something is going to happen. Oh yeah, the whole joke about special forces doing ops over in Mexico, guys, you have no idea. You have no idea. If these guys, if you get targeted by special forces, it's over with. It's over with. Let's see here. Let's see here. The talk of tariffs is to open up communications and negotiations with. Yes, exactly. Tariffs eventually do win, but they can be painful, and we really do need to be ready for some of the butt pain that is coming because it took them 4 years to screw this up, guys. You think we're going to turn it around, overnight? It's going to take some time. It's going to take some speeches. People are going to have to understand that it's going to be work to fix, and economies don't flip-flop overnight. Okay. Oh, let's see here. Use a rust coating inhibitor for entire underbody of vehicle. Great ones out there. Yes. And believe it or not, you can actually have your vehicle winter coated. Don't forget about all those unknowns still in the sky. Yes, exactly. Exactly. I was watching. Let's not get off subject. Let's not get off subject. I think we're going to have some time to talk about what happened last night and all the different scenarios. And so keep that in the back of your brain housing group for when we finish with the actual portion of, or should I say, with these segments that are EMP based. All right. So let's see. Conductive metal body. Vehicles with conductive metal bodies offer some inherent EMP protection by acting as a Faraday cage. However, non-conductive materials like fiberglass or plastic compromise the protection. So keep that in mind if you're out there buying a vehicle. Enhance what I guess it's a recommendation. You can enhance shielding by ensuring all body parts are properly grounded and bonded. Seal gaps in the vehicle structure to improve electromagnetic resistance. It's kind of a catch-22. It's really difficult to do unless you tear the whole vehicle back down to the frame, because there are actually holes that are inside of the cab of a vehicle, inside the firewall of a vehicle, that allow air to move in and out of a cabin. And yeah, you might want to check that out if you're serious. If you're serious. Now, next, let's talk about how we can we can we can EMP harden our vehicles. Improving your vehicle's EMP resistance involves targeted modifications and some kind of strategic planning. Before or let's talk about some actionable steps to that where you can actually like fortify your vehicle. Now, grounding conductive components. Ground all conductive parts to a single chassis point to minimize energy transfer during an EMP. And West Virginia Pappy was talking about making sure that that grounding point is sanded down to metal, man, before you start adding things to it. Because right now, the factory ground is perfect. Okay. When you start to move things around, or if your vehicle's got some age on it, you might start to see some rust start to build up there, and you might want to solve that problem. Shielding wiring, replace vulnerable wiring with shielded cables, route wiring close to the frame to reduce exposure. You also might want to, rebond some body panels, remove paint between body panel connections and use conductive gaskets to improve electromagnetic continuity. Once again, we're talking about like tearing your entire car apart. And then obviously surge protection, installing fast clamping surge suppressors on antennas and wiring entry points using ferrite clamps to reduce interference. This is basically what we were talking about with the EMP shield, guys. There's obviously you can use the ferrite clamps. You can buy those on Amazon. They're basically those giant. There's those tubular things that you'll see on some power supplies, and what that does is that reduces electronic interference. Um, Mechanical systems, you might want to think about replacing electric systems with mechanical alternatives, such as carburetors and mechanical fuel pumps. Now, on most modern vehicles, that's probably not going to work, but it is far from impossible. Um, you need to make sure that you've got spare parts in your Faraday cage. Store valuable parts, including alternators, starters, electronic control units, in an EMP protected enclosure. And then you want to think about parking your vehicle in a shielded garages. You can build or retrofit garages with EMP shielding, such as metal lined walls and grounded structures. But once again, we're starting to talk about like you want to guarantee this thing is going to be EMP protected, which is extremely difficult to do. Extremely difficult. So some of the final recommendations are that choosing and or preparing a post EMP vehicle requires a balance of practicality, adaptability, and preparation. You might want to start by selecting a simple, durable vehicle and prioritize essential modifications. Invest in spare parts, tools, and training to ensure long-term reliability, and every improvement enhances your resilience in a post EMP world, increasing the likelihood of survivability for you and your family. So, with that said, that's all the EMP stuff that I'm going to talk about. Do me a favor, if you have not done the poll yet, go ahead and do that. Looks like we got 20 in here. We're missing a couple of people, so do that when the time comes, when you feel comfortable with that. I'm going to go to the chat. Don't forget about the unknown still in the country. So West Virginia Pappy, yeah. You know, uh, Captain Red Tie, he was very clear in his first speech, in his actual inauguration speech. He was very clear about um, the removing criminal. Okay, he said criminal. All right. Um, it's like, well, they came across the border illegally. They're criminal. Yeah, but they got processed. Okay. They got processed. And if you guys didn't figure that out, that's why they were processing them. That way they can say they're in the system and that they get their court date in 6 freaking years and rah, rah, siskumba, enjoy being an American until we can't find you. That was their plan. Okay. The reality is that we do need immigrants in our country, not to pick our cabbage. Okay, but because we have a problem with our child population. I've done a video on this. A lot of people, it really pissed off a lot of people. But I think the education aspect of this channel is more important than making people feel good about being an American. Okay, don't get me wrong, man. I'll say America until the day I die. It's the greatest country on the planet, but you have to look at things logically. And we do have a problem with the child birth rate, or the birth rate here in America, that has been basically destroyed by the change in values from people wanting to become the nuclear family, to people who just want to party their brains out and do nothing with their lives. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot to be said for having a good time. There really is. Okay. But it's like the old adage, you're when you're born and when you're a teenager and you're in college, you're basically a Democrat. And then as you grow up and realize the world doesn't give a crap about you, and you realize that you're just gonna, you'll die alone, and somebody will be wiping your butt here and there if you made that money. If not, you're just gonna be one of the homeless on the street. You start to realize those things, and mysteriously all the values turn you into a Republican. Now, I'm unaffiliated, so just if you're watching the channel and you're not one of those things, then have a coconut smile and you know the rest. But the reality is that we have a problem with our birth rate. These people do solve some of that. It is the American dream that they are after. For those that do have no wish to be American, to live the American way of life, for those that wish to try and do what they did in Great Britain, or no, I'm sorry, in England, where they literally just took over with their culture. And now there's parts of England where it doesn't even look like England anymore. It looks like, it looks like the bazaar. Okay. And it's great for them. It's great for them. But what about the people who lived there their entire lives that got pushed out? If they think that's going to happen here, I think they're going to have a bad freaking day. So, with that said, let's go to the chat here. Um, let's see here. Let's see here. Bradley says, I love the idea that special forces would decimate the cartels, but yes, a lot of the cartel guys run instead of fight, but they are trained military and well armed. Yes, they are. The cartels are well armed, and they do train. They do train. The cartels are a serious problem because they have basically completely infiltrated the Mexican government. The Mexican government is corrupt. It has always been slightly corrupt. If you got arrested in Tijuana in the '80s, you literally just gave the guy $100 and he let you go. Um, it's corruption is corruption. They can't talk about the rule of law because they use the rule of law to perpetuate their corruption. But I think once Mexico realizes, well, now that basically the border got closed, if you guys didn't see that, it was like 1 o'clock California time. The border at some place in Texas closed. Cops, police standing on the line. No one's coming across. Period. Um, I think that once they realize that they're not going to fly mule tunnel across the border, that teams will be organized and structured to destroy these people, not arrest them. I think that they'll figure that out. I think they'll figure that out pretty quick because, like I said, you guys have no idea. It's like even standard military forces. If our spec op guys decide to target you, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can say. There's no place you can be on the planet. You're going to be dead. So, and I think that's the goal too, because the world has kind of moved with what has happened with over there in the Middle East with Israel and Hezbollah and so on and so forth. They've really moved past this kindler, gentler times, this turn the other cheek time. It's literally like, if you don't stop doing this, we're going to kill you. Not we're going to make you, we're not, you know what I'm saying? It's straight to it. It's not a threat. We're going to do it. In fact, to bring my point home, during the peace accord that happened this last week, Israel was like, we're gonna agree to this, but we've got to take it to council. They took it to council, and what is it? Not Hamas, the other one decided to start doing some stupid stuff. Or no, they wouldn't agree to it, and then they started moving people around, and boom, 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 instant bombing campaign. They're like, oh no, 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 okay, well, let's talk, guys. And so I think that the time for negotiations is pretty much over with these people. The same as it with the Mexican cartels, along as the same as what has happened in the Middle East. Let's see here. Let's see here. A lot of electronic connection. Where are we at here? I love the idea where we talked about that. Coca-Cola or vinegar can be used to clean the corrosion off. Yes. For a lot of electrical connections, some grease goes a long way to prevent corrosion. Yes. And it's funny too because that's old school, man. Whenever you were installed trailer lights on a boat, they're waterproof to an extent, but all of their connections are not, and you had actually had to use wire grease, which is really weird. But yeah, it does protect them. Um, let's see, a fairly popular model will increase part supplies. True. Cindy says, thank goodness lots of junkyards here in South Dakota, old repairable cars, lots of parts. We don't crush old cars, we scrap as fast. Yes, exactly. Let's see here. Chicken McNug says, that's why I hope my early 2000 Silverado will hold up through it. Speaking of my truck, something to think about in an EMP situation is exhaust should probably be silent or close to it because a lot of people are going to want it and you'll be noticed faster. Yes, yes. That's what one of the benefits actually. See, it's kind of catch 22 because the older vehicles are louder and their mufflers were never really designed to silence anything. Um, but uh, the newer cars are very quiet vehicles, so you could throw an EMP shield on one of those vehicles and people wouldn't be able to hear you. Let's see here. My piped ass is in trouble. Yes, you are. West Virginia Pappy says, I was thinking of the unknown getaways who pre- aren't prepared. The unknown getaways who aren't prepared. That could mean a lot of things, West Virginia Pappy. The Palestinians. No, no, it's Hezbollah and it's one's north, one's south. I can't remember. Hamas, Hezbollah and Hamas. So Hamas is down south, Hezbollah is up north. Let's see here. Miko says, "Hey Miko, good to see you. I got the EMP proof vehicle Husky and sled or a skis winter up to 60 miles per hour summer. 34% of EMP vehicles pull up to 1,500 pounds. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay, guys. Looks like the chat is dying down there, and we're moving up on that time. So if you want to talk about anything for the next 10 minutes, put it in the chat. Otherwise, we will shut this puppy down. We got 23 votes in the poll. What's the most important feature of an EMP ready vehicle? 57% minimal electronics, 22% large cargo capacity, 17% off-road capability, and 4% long-lasting diesel fuel. Let's see here. Rose says, avoid the vehicles on the list of most frequently stolen. There you go. 46 camper, good morning. Good morning. Yeah, we're almost done here. I guess you caught the very end of the live stream. But that's okay. Like I said, we'll be here for about another 10 minutes, I think. As long as you guys keep the chat active, we're good to go. Do me a favor, guys. Let's wake the chat up. Do me a favor, put a number 1 in the chat if you want an EMP proof vehicle. Everybody does. It's like saying, hey, do you want a bunker? Well, yes, I do. Do that. I'm going to sip a little coffee here. I'm going to think about something real quick, and then we're going to move on for another 9 minutes. Ah, yeah. Let's see here. West Virginia Pappy, those who they didn't document sneak. Oh yeah, I mean, listen, man, it's dangerous. It's absolutely dangerous. These people that snuck in, are they just, listen, I used to live in San Ysidro on the border. Not a joke. I could see Mexico from my house. Um, I lived in a brand new housing complex. It was at the edge of a hill, and I watched, if it rained, the illegal aliens, the pollo, the pollo, would run through my yard down the hill, and it looked like a freaking army had been in my yard. You know what I'm saying? We only ever had one time where somebody tried to get in the house, and the door was locked, and they gave up. They just knew that, there's so many sensors out there, and this was an unfenced portion of the border. So, I mean, there's people that are just trying to come over. Back when I lived there, I was a kid. I was just basically mid-teens, and the border patrol would they would drive up to my house. Hey man, what's going on? What's going on? Because they knew I was like hunting rabbits with my BB gun and shit. So they knew I was tripping their sensors, and they would get pissed at me, but they knew everything was okay. Did you see anything? No, man. And I would literally be like, no, I haven't seen anything, man. And I'd be like, with my eyes, you know, the bushes over there. He's like, okay, cool. And he would drive away, and they would come out. He'd drive back up and get them. Um, but yeah, they used to carry clean clothes with them, and because where they had to cross where I lived was desert, and it was basically like a day's crossing. Um, but they would wear the clean clothes, or they would carry like a shopping bag full of clothes, and like water bottles and sodas, and things like that. And then when they would get to where they like near my house, near the complex, the housing complex, not the military complex, but the housing complex, and they would be like, "Okay, we're getting ready. We're going to be on the streets here in a minute." So they would change all their clothes. They would just throw away all their old clothes into a giant pile. It was freaking disgusting. But and then drink all their water, and then they would just like walk out of the woods or out of the bushes, and then start walking down the street. Well, it's San Diego, California, so they're gonna fit in pretty well. I think that's the plan. That's the plan. But it's pretty crazy. Let's see here. 11 free American free January 6th prisoners hostage. 11 free American free January 6th prisoners hostage. Uh, I mean, they gave pardons to a whole buttload of people last night. I haven't done the counting. I'm sure that'll be in the news today. But yeah, the gotaways that could be doing something nefarious. There's lots of people that have ideas about everything from anti-aircraft missiles to Chinese brigades. There's no way to know. There's no way to know. Let's see here. Kentucky Goat. Oh, hey, are you an adult yet, young man? Are you an adult? Shouldn't you be in school right now? Ian says 1970s and 80s Ford and Dodge truck. There you go. Rose says Senator Schiff upset the Trump pardon of J6ers. Wonder what he thought of Biden's family pardons. Oh, exactly, man. It's you know, it's he's an idiot. The guy needs to go, but people just keep voting him back in. It's just insane. It's like the like last night, like Captain Red Tie was saying, man, we're bringing back common sense, and I think what's going to happen is, Schiff has been censured before, and so he's not. I'm pretty sure he's been censured from multiple, uh, uh, um, what not hearing boards, councils. Basically, the other part where it's he could still vote, he could still speak, but he can't be part of hearings. Um, let's see here. Did you see the left's complaint about Elon's supposed salute? Yeah, it's a joke. The whole thing's a joke. If you watch the whole thing in context, he's literally like, "You guys have got my heart. You guys have got my heart." And then there was actually an AI where they spun it around, so it looks like he's doing like a Heil Hitler and stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's absolutely crazy. They really were. Who is texting me this early in the morning? Sorry, guys. I've got to if you guys know what's going on in my life, I've got to pay attention to everything, everything. Um, um, let's see. I know you're homeschooled, bro. We've had this conversation, bro. Let's see. Schiff was pardoned by Biden. Yeah, I mean, it's all a joke. It's all a joke. But I keep telling people they could still investigate these people. They just can't prosecute them. But they can create enough information, enough of a paper trail in the investigation, and people that information is available to the public, and then that information can be used to sue them using civil suits. Yeah, wrap that one up in a bow. All right, let's see here. Some people are afraid of change. Yeah, I mean that that I understand that. That's logical. That's reasonable. But the thing is we're not talking about change. We're talking about coming back to reality, coming back to, it's like you can't live in crazy town for 4 years and go, oh, everything's fine. It's not. It's absolutely not. And now that Captain Red Tie's in charge, more and more people are going to start to speak out. They're going to start being saying what they've been afraid to say, because now they're not going to be, ostracized for just using common sense. Like, no, you can't mess with my kid. No, you can't talk to me like that at work. You know what I'm saying? No, I don't accept I don't accept your freaking, whatevers, We can still be nice, we can still be fair, we can still be American and say, "I respect your right to be the way you want to be, but you will not force it on me or my family." And that's the way things should be. Let's see here. He was passing confidential information to the press. Yeah, exactly. I know. That's why he was sanctioned. He can't be trusted. They can't plead the fifth anymore. Bradley says they can't do it federally, but they can still be caught by the states. That's true. That's true. But the states technically can't process can't. Well, actually, there's precedence now with the New York trial of Trump, where a state prosecuted using a federal law. They're not supposed to be able to do that. So, yeah, there's that possibility. But the thing is they're not. What they need to do. Okay, here's how it should go down. They do the investigation and they make everything public, and they do it in a way that makes everybody who has anything to do with this person want to detach from them, to be disassociated with them, so that basically they get self blacklisted is what happens, and then they disappear. When I say disappear, I mean they go retire. Let's see here. Chick McNugget says they can be prosecuted by the state. They have been federally pardoned. Yes, exactly. That's what I just said. Okay, guys. We just hit 10. I've got to take this phone call. It's from my son. I don't get to talk to him very often. But as usual, guys, love you. If you want to just make sure you hit the thumbs up on the way out the door. Tomorrow, I'll let you know tonight if there's going to be a live stream tomorrow or not. I've got tomorrow is second round, first day of the second round of chemo for the girlfriend. Everything should be fine. She's obviously like dreading it, even though their first day is like sitting there for 3 hours doing nothing and going playing on her phone. But she's dreading what's going to be happening the 3 days after that. So we'll deal with that as we can. So as usual, guys, like I said, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up on the way out the door. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscription button and check your bells. If you're a member, I'm in the Discord all the time. You guys know that. And if you want to support the channel, there are links in the description to do that. Become a member, and you'll get all the cool stuff before everybody else does. All right, guys, stay safe. Have a great day, and I shall see you when I see you. Bye bye.